Okay. Hi, this is Eric Martin from BoardGameGeek. I'm here with Jason Hill and Jack Scott Hill from Flying Frog Productions. We'll be looking at some of the expansions that you have for Shadows of Brimstone with new enemies and new characters and lots of new things.
Yeah, all sorts of crazy new enemies to fight down in the mines and to add to your adventures. We've got a bunch of new enemies coming out over the next few months and the rest of the year, really. The first one we can talk about here is the Darkstone Hydra, which is pretty cool. It's another big XL size enemy, and you can see the figure is just pretty gigantic there running into that. It's basically a rattlesnake, just common in the desert, but that's been completely mutated out of control by the radioactive Darkstone, and void energies in the area, and so it's turned into this massive multi-headed Hydra that you can come across.
Okay.
And the Darkstone Hydra is actually really cool because even though it's an extra large size enemy, it actually is a normal threat that you can run into just during the adventure. It's not like a big end boss necessarily. You can run into him you turn a corner and suddenly there's a giant extra large Darkstone Hydra right in front of you. And so he basically scales based on the number of heroes and how your party's doing.
Okay.
And he's a lot of fun.
And each of the enemy sets that we put out has the model, all models associated with that enemy, all the cards you need to use the enemy, like their stats, a rule sheet, a painting guide. So it's
basically
a complete kit.
Everything you need to add that new enemy type to your adventures.
Okay.
So we didn't bring the boxes and miniatures for everything, but as far as the release schedule goes, for retail stores, they should be getting the Darkstone Hydra, the Tren Hunters, and the Custodians of Targa and Targa Pylons. In April.
Okay.
And then the next release is in June, and it has the Stafford Gang.
Okay.
And we've brought a few of the figures here. Here's Colonel Stafford himself, the leader of the gang. And then these are some of the Stafford Gang mutants.
Yeah. So the Scaphoid Gang are pretty cool. They're basically like a gang of mutant outlaws. So they're kind of ne'er-do-wells and outlaws that made their hideouts up in the mines where all of this Darkstone is that's irradiating everything. And so because they're hiding out up there, they're in much closer proximity to all of this kind of dark magic and dark void energies. And so they've kind of started mutating out of control, which of course has made them even more crazy and more ruthless. And so this is actually an example of one of our deluxe enemy sets. And so instead of just being a few threat cards, the enemy record sheet, and one new enemy type, this is more of a little bit of a deep dive into this new type of enemy, the Stafford Gang and Mutant Outlaws.
There's several brand new decks actually that come with
so
it.
there's a lot of new cards in here. It actually comes with a couple of new missions that are themed around the Stafford Gang and fighting them. And it also comes with not just the Stafford Gang, but also Colonel Stafford himself, who's basically like a veteran of the Civil War, from the South, and he sort of put the gang together to relive the glory days, but in their, of course, new mutated form. And so he's kind of a legendary outlaw figure with his tentacle legs and his twin pistols.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of cool new stuff for the Stafford Gang in here, and getting a couple of missions that focus on them it can be a lot of fun. It's very thematic and makes your adventures that much more exciting.
So these should be in retail stores. The Stafford Gang in June, and also the same month we're releasing the Darkstone Brutes enemy pack.
Yeah, so the Darkstone Brutes are actually also part of the Stafford Gang. They're basically guys that have fused with Darkstone and rock, and so they've become big hulking, kind of ogreish, outlaws that have big rocky fists that they'll fight you with.
Okay.
And then we have in July, we didn't bring any of the figures here, but the Harvesters from Beyond and the Tredaran Raiders enemy packs.
Yeah, and so those are both enemies that are from other worlds that basically have come through the gateways and the portals that have ripped open onto Earth and come through to sort of steal stuff, steal Darkstone, steal supplies and munitions and everything to help their society back where they're from. Okay. And one of the themes of them is that they actually will visit all of the different other worlds. So when you get one of those enemy sets, they actually have threat cards that appear in every one of the other worlds that we have available.
Okay. And the last thing that we brought to show miniature-wise is this guy. It's sort of a sneak preview because he's not on our retail release schedule yet, but we have the model done.
Okay.
And he is Belial, the last of the Shadow Kings, and we're very, very proud of how this model turned out. And we brought it to GAMA here, and many people stop by the booth where they've never heard of the game or anything, but they're like, "What is that? How do I get this?" And so we're like, we should probably bring this and show it. I think people would like to see it. It's a lot of fun. It turned out really good.
Yeah,
Jason, do you want to talk about Belial?
Belial is basically a big epic enemy that you can come across and fight, and he's sort of the avatar of an ancient dark god, of course. That's encircled in runic bindings that sort of prevent him from getting his full strength, But he actually comes with some missions, and he comes with a special deck of shadow magic cards that he can be casting at your heroes, and it's a lot of fun fighting him. It's a big epic battle when you come across Belial.
He's kind of a big bad, and you can see here next to a normal human, he's kind of enormous.
Yeah, his hands are the size of the top half of that bandit there. So.
Right.
Yeah, I think he could reach down and just crush his head.
Yeah, well, I think definitely.
Maybe with 2 fingers, like a crush your head.
Crush you, yeah.
That's right, like the Statue of Liberty.
Exactly.
Head on.
We'll hope that the Statue of Liberty never animates like Ghostbusters 2. All right, and then the next thing we'll talk about is a separate thing, the Tradera. So
Okay, so that's it.
Yeah.
Except it's not.